You might think of auditing as one of those old school traditional professions, and you wouldn't be wrong. But even auditing is getting a massive, high-tech upgrade. We're talking about a move away from endless spreadsheets and manual checks. Today, it's all about using data to see into the future and help steer the ship. So let's dive into how modern auditing is making this incredible leap.
But think about it for a second. How did these massive global companies spot a potential disaster on the horizon before it actually hits? I mean, they don't have a crystal ball. It's not magic. It's a process.
And that process has a name: risk assessment. This is really the bedrock of internal auditing. It's a structured way to identify, evaluate, and then prioritize all the things that could possibly go wrong. That way, the business can focus its energy on the stuff that truly matters most. Now, the old way of doing this, it was a nightmare. Just imagine manual work in Excel, endless data entry. It was slow, it was tedious, and it was just riddled with human error. But the new way? It's a total game changer. We're talking about automated workflows. You build the logic just once, and then it runs perfectly every single time. It's fast, it's accurate, and, this is key, it's completely reproducible. So, what's making this huge shift possible? Well, like any job, it comes down to having the right tools. And one of the most powerful tools in this new modern auditing toolkit is a platform called KNIME. So what is KNIME? It's an open source data analytics platform. And honestly, the best way to think of it is like playing with data Legos. You don't have to be a coder. You literally just connect these different blocks visually, and each block performs a specific task. You string them together to build these incredibly powerful data workflows. It's really analytics for everybody. Okay, so using a tool like this, we can take what is basically a raw, kind of boring list of potential risks and turn it into a high-level strategic conversation. I'm going to walk you through a simplified 4-step journey to show you exactly how it's done. So it all starts with step 1. You ingest the raw data. That's just connecting to your list of potential risks. Then you calculate a score for each one to figure out, how serious is this, really? Next, you classify those risks into simple categories, and then, finally, the payoff. You visualize everything so it becomes incredibly easy to understand in a single glance. Now, at the very heart of this is something called the risk score. So how do you take a vague threat and turn it into a concrete number? Well, it's actually a beautifully simple formula. You just take the likelihood of that risk happening, let's say on a scale of 1 to 5, and you multiply it by the potential impact if it does happen, also on a scale of 1 to 5. The result is one clean, simple number that tells you its overall severity. And once you have that score, you can use really simple rules to classify it. So in this system, anything with a score of 15 or higher gets classified as high risk, and you guessed it, colored red. A score between 8 and 14 is medium. That gets a yellow. And anything 7 or below is low risk, colored green. Just like that, you've created a universal language for risk that anyone in the company can understand. Okay, and this is where the magic really starts to happen. After all that work processing and classifying, you can turn that mountain of data into a clear, compelling story. And it all comes down to great visualization. The main tool we use for this is called the risk matrix. And the best way to think about it is like a weather map. But instead of tracking thunderstorms, it's tracking business risks. It shows you exactly where the storms are brewing inside the company. This thing just brilliantly shows you where to focus your attention. Anything up in that top right corner is both highly likely and has a high impact. Those are your big red bubbles, your code red alerts. Then down in the bottom left, you've got your low priority green bubbles. And the size of each bubble, that just represents its overall risk score. So in one single look, you know exactly where your biggest problems lie. But of course, you can slice and dice the data in other ways too. For example, a simple bar chart can instantly show you which part of the business, like operations or compliance or strategy, is carrying the most risk. It just gives you that quick, high-level snapshot. Okay, so seeing the risks is one thing. That's great. But the real power, the whole point of this exercise, comes from using this data to ask the most important question of all. Are we actually making the right decisions about these risks? And this is where the analysis gets really interesting. You can create a table that puts the risk level, high, medium, or low, right next to the company's planned response. Are they going to avoid the risk, reduce it, or just accept it? And right here, this is where you can start to spot some major disconnects. And that leads you to the absolute killer question. If your data shows, for instance, that there are two high-level risks that management has decided to simply accept, well, you have to ask, why? Is there a really good reason for that? Or is this a massive blind spot? Are we basically ignoring a ticking time bomb? Because you see, at the end of the day, the final output isn't a chart, it's not a report, it's a conversation. The entire point of this data-driven process is to walk into a room with leadership, point to the data, and start a meaningful dialogue based on objective facts, not just gut feelings. This is how you stop a small issue from becoming $1 million problem.
And that really brings us to the big takeaway here. This whole shift means the auditor's role is fundamentally changing. It's not just about finding the facts hidden in the data anymore. It's about being able to weave those facts into a compelling story, a story that drives smart strategic action. And in today's world, well, that's a whole new ballgame.